Als Freund des Hauses, des Kaffeesektors, des Deutschen Kaffeeverband begrüßen Sie bitte ganz herzlich mit mir den Executive Director der International Coffee Organization, Herrn José Dauster Sette.
Danke, Holger. Meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren, I am honored to address you on behalf of all the members of the International Coffee Organization in this magnificent venue on occasion of the 50th anniversary of the Deutsche Kaffeeverband. I am a great fan of coffee history and am acutely aware of the importance of Germany to the world coffee sector. In the 19th century, Germany was already the leading coffee trading country in mainland Europe. German leadership in coffee has continued in recent decades. In fact, the institutional relation between Germany and the international coffee community predates the founding of both the DKV and the ICO. While preparing this speech, in the ICO library, I came across the proceedings of a very special coffee event that took place on the occasion of the 1962 Überseetag here in Hamburg. The photographs in the book show Walter Scheel, who was Federal Minister for Economic Cooperation at the time, but later became the Federal President, enjoying a delicious cup of coffee with representatives of the German industry, accompanied by foreign dignitaries, including Minister Manuel Bramão, the representative of the ICO's precursor, the World Coffee Promotion Committee. Some things remain the same. The photos show a reception on a ship, just as we will enjoy later today. Other things have clearly changed for the better. While the photographs from 1962 show only men, many of whom are smoking, I see a truly diverse group of leaders gathered here today. Almost 6 decades later, Germany is still at the forefront of coffee. The latest statistics show that Germany is the biggest coffee-consuming country in Europe, the second biggest importer of green coffee in the world, one of the countries with the highest per capita coffee consumption, and the biggest exporter of soluble coffee in the world. Such an important market requires a strong, active, and well-organized trade association to represent coffee before the public sector and civil society. The DKV excels at this role, which is why it received the award of Association of the Year in 2018 and is the fastest growing coffee association in Europe. At the ICO, we consider the Deutsche Kaffeeverband to be a key partner. Among our efforts at collaboration, I would like to highlight the DKV's work as one of our agents for the daily collection of coffee prices, which are then used to compile the ICO indicator prices. This price series is a unique source of information on the behavior of prices for transactions of green coffee. As such, the DKV plays a major role in the attainment of one of the ICO's strategic objectives, the enhancement of transparency of the market through the provision of neutral and reliable information. We look forward to many more years of fruitful collaboration. Above all, the Deutsche Kaffeeverband and the International Coffee Organization share a common bond. We are both membership organizations with all the challenges this condition implies. Our members are diverse and their interests are not always harmonious. So we must learn to create consensus without falling into the trap of settling for the lowest common denominator. Diversity is challenging, but it is also empowering. When our organizations speak out, their voices carry the weight of their entire membership. In this context, I would like to pay a special tribute to Holger Preibisch and his team. In knowledge-based organizations such as ours, the staff is the strongest asset. Right now, the topic uppermost on the minds of all coffee people is the crisis of low prices. From our side, we are promoting a sector-wide dialogue to develop mechanisms to mitigate the impact of low prices and to ensure the sustainability of coffee. The DKV also contributes to this dialogue by organizing a very stimulating International Coffee Congress on Sustainability in Berlin last month, in which I was privileged to participate. So, our organizations think alike and share many common values. I would like to close by congratulating all of you on your many accomplishments and for organizing this brilliant event. Alles Gute für die nächsten 50 Jahre.
Stellvertretend für alle Kaffeeanbauländer, mit denen wir so hervorragende Kontakte pflegen, wird das Land Brasilien ein Grußwort an uns richten. Heute ist Brasilien für uns mit Abstand der wichtigste Lieferant von Kaffee. Jede dritte Bohne, die die deutschen Häfen erreicht, kommt aus Brasilien. Wir freuen uns daher ganz außerordentlich, dass seine Exzellenz, Herr Roberto Jaguaribe, Botschafter der Föderativen Republik Brasilien, jetzt seine Greetings übermitteln wird. Herzlich willkommen.
Guten Tag, ich muss mich entschuldigen, denn ich spreche nur ein bisschen Deutsch. And in English, I will speak now. Thank you very much. You know, it's a great pleasure and an honor to be here, especially because, as has been said, coffee is a global product, especially in the tropical developing countries. It is a very important produce, and I'm representing all of them in this meeting tonight. I think that coffee is also a matter of taste. And in this respect, I was really awestruck with the enormous good taste that the German Coffee Association had in having this event here in this beautiful venue with beautiful music, a wonderful orchestra, listening to Glinka, to Schubert, and shortly to Dvorak, and finally to Mozart, is something that nobody can complain. I think it's a wonderful combination. You are to be heartily congratulated on this very good taste that you showed, as well as obviously the good taste of continue to promote coffee in all tables. We heard that coffee is very good for your health. We have heard differently before. Fortunately, I never listened myself to any of these. Otherwise, I would not be eating butter for a lengthy time, or even having eggs and milk. Meat is now on the range. I'm a good meat eater from Brazil, and I'm not going to abandon that either. But, Brazil, as was said, when you suggested that you are in Hamburg, because Hamburg is the coffee place, I thought you were moving to Brazil, because actually Brazil is very much the coffee place. For more than 150 years, we have been the largest producers in the world. In the end of the 19th century, you had close to 85% of all the global production, and most of foreign earnings in Brazil came from coffee. This is no longer true for almost the most relevant producers. Brazil is no longer producing 85% of the world coffee, but still we are the largest producers. We have close to 35%, and coffee has diminished in its specific value as income earning from Brazil, but it still has an enormous social value for all the producing countries in the world. And this is very much the case in Brazil. So fluctuation in coffee prices affect families, affect producers in a very special way. In Brazil, we have been undergoing a very significant shift in coffee production. Major farms are going down, small farms are going up, and especially cooperatives. And this is very much partially due to the fact that we have had significant changes in the rural landscape of Brazil, especially in the social landscape, and the wages have gone up significantly. So family farming has become the most effective way of dealing with this changing in prices in Brazil. Also, efficiency in production in Brazil has always been at the forefront in efficiency in production. We have been increasing our output of coffee, whilst at the same time decreasing the land area that we use to grow coffee. And of course, this has a relation also to the fact that family farming has become more important in coffee production in Brazil. The other elements that are very relevant, and today are very market relevant as well, are the questions of sustainability, which again, coffee is usually, and certainly in Brazil, in most countries here, and I salute my colleagues from other producing countries that are here, produced in a very sustainable way. Organic coffee has grown also very considerably, and this is the case in Brazil as well as in most other coffee producing countries in the world. Finally, I think that it's important to take into account that Hamburg is not just a city with a port, it's a city that has been shaped by a port and created the culture that comes along with that, which is openness, trade, and understanding of other values from around the world. We are very happy that in the past 10 days, Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, and the European countries have finally concluded the negotiations of a trade agreement, which will benefit all of us. And of course, some cities will benefit more than others. And certainly Hamburg is among the cities that is going to benefit when this agreement finally comes into place. I think this is also very fitting that it's a city with such open consideration, with the tradition for trade, with an understanding of global affairs in this moment where many of those that are being questioned. And again, coffee comes to mind, because coffee is also a very social drink. It's not just an individual drink, although to pursue a night by yourself, coffee is very helpful, but coffee is a very sociable drink as well, and I think a salutation in relation to this is due in order. So I am very honored to be representing producing countries here today, and very glad to say these few words to you. Congratulations once again, and thank you.